Hello, you guys. Welcome to my channel, All Things Militia, where I discuss a lot about what's going on in the political world, but also topics that pertain to everyday life in general. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you guys. I enjoy reading your comments as always. If you see a video that you like, don't forget, hit that thumbs up button for your girl. Continue to leave your comments down below because I want to get your thoughts on what I'm discussing. Share the video, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. You can do all those things, and don't forget to subscribe if you're interested. So I wanted to come on here real quick today, you guys. If you've been following political news, you've heard about the No Kings protests that have occurred again. Okay, this is the third round of No Kings protests since President Trump took office. And it's just interesting that, they would title this No Kings protest, considering that the United States has never had a king, and that the presidents can only serve 2 terms. But a lot of these left-wing politicians that are coming out that spake, like Bernie Sanders, have been in political office for decades, like literally the amount of time that a king would serve. That's how long they've been in office, while at the same time participating in No Kings protests. But in my opinion, you guys, this is all left-wing political BS for the most part. They're not having their way with illegal immigrants. We have a midterm coming up this year in November, and they really need these people. They need these people to vote, because if you haven't seen the election map of 2024, you can Google it and see that the American people are sick of the Democrats. And that because the Democrats do not care about the American people. And if you need further proof of that, all you have to do is look at President Trump's State of the Union speech that he did this year, when he asked everyone to stand that agreed with the statement that the government's first duty should be to protect American citizens, legal American citizens, over illegal. Okay, and guess who sat down? Yeah, the Democrats. At any rate, you guys, let's get into this. Now, mind you, October, I think, was the last time they had a No Kings riot or protest or whatever. Riot, it was because they was throwing bricks and doing all that type stuff. I said it right. And around that time, guess what had occurred? A government shutdown. And then look, we're in March, and here we go with these No King protests again. And guess what occurred this month? A government shutdown. It's almost as if this stuff is not coincidental.
Today, protesters across this country took to the streets as part of the latest No Kings demonstration against President Trump and his administration. Among the biggest rallies right there in St. Paul, Minnesota, outside the state capitol.
Minnesota? Is that the same state where they just found all of those billions of dollars of taxpayer money being fraudulently funneled through fake daycare businesses? So what a coincidence that they would be having a protest right now.
Christian Benavidez is in West Palm Beach, Florida, near the president's home. Christian.
Jarika, this is the third round of No Kings protests. Organizers say that they expect these crowds to be the largest. And in that Minnesota rally, officials there prepared for a crowd of over 150,000 people.
Wow, that's surprising, considering that the Democrats couldn't even draw crowds during their presidential runs. They had to hire people like Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, and Cardi B to bring in crowds, because they couldn't even fill up high school auditoriums. But reportedly, they are paying people to attend these protests too, you guys, just in case you didn't know. I thought about attending a couple of them for a good fee. They're paying people pretty good, reportedly $200 to $500 a day just to go out there and hold a sign and say Orange Man bad,
President Trump spent the day at his Florida golf course, while Americans gathered at more than 3,000 No Kings protests around the country.
He promised no new wars. He promised to be the America First president, and this sure does not look like that.
Protests were also held worldwide, including in Rome, Madrid, and Paris. The White House has dubbed the rallies Trump derangement therapy sessions.
And that's exactly what it is. Trump derangement therapy sessions, where they all come together. Because because they couldn't have their way because Trump became a two-term president. What they were trying to keep him from doing. That should tell the American people something as a whole, that this man that they had in the media for the negative ever since he announced his run, okay, raided his home, took his name out the ballot, took him off of social media, took him in and out of court, did everything that they could, almost tried to take him out of here, you know, off the earth. He still became a two-term president. So that should let us know, any rational person would know something's not right. The same media that had him neck and neck in a pose with the fake black woman, supposedly is an Indian, and she got beat in a landslide. So now here they go again, the media working their magic, which right now is really on themselves. Let's go into another clip, you guys. This was regarding the last year in October when they had the No Kings riots, protests, whatever you want to call it.
Voted no. The government, I believe, will stay shut down at least for another week because, as you mentioned, the No Kings rally is on Saturday. And the Democrats are trying to audition.
On Saturday? It was on Saturday then. It's on Saturday today. So these people are claiming to be fighting for a noble cause, but no one is sacrificing going to work. They're waiting till the weekend to go out here and do something. Okay, it's a joke.
For their radical left, they're afraid that they will be in real trouble with their radicals if they reopen the government. So for every federal employee across the country who didn't get a paycheck today on October 15th, the reason you didn't get a paycheck is because Chuck Schumer and the Democrats want to appeal to the radicals at these No Kings rallies. Now, number two, just about every one of those Democrats, they're getting paychecks. Under the 28th Amendment of the Constitution, members of Congress's compensation cannot change during their term in office.
So look, these people are getting paid while the government is shut down and workers, everyday American citizens, are not getting paid and are suffering. Okay, these people are getting paid. That's why I say if you shut down the government, they should have to also shut down their pay. And I guarantee it will cut out a lot of this BS. These people don't care about the American people. They just want their way. And what's so interesting is that they kept saying that Trump, during his first term in office, right before they, staged a coup, in my opinion, to install the former corrupt senile president, they were running a narrative that he's not going to want to leave the office. He's a dictator. He's not going to want to be out of power. But what do? The minute that they are out of power? Stage these No King protests, use their bought and paid for liberal media to continue to create divisive rhetoric among us, when it was clear as day that the American people chose who they wanted, even after all of the BS that they ran.
So they're all taking their paycheck. Now, I and many other Republicans have sent a letter to the Secretary of the Senate saying, do not pay me, do not deposit my check into my bank account until this shutdown is over. I'm not going to be paid until every soldier and sailor and airman and Marine is paid, until federal employees are paid. But the Democrats are being complete and utter hypocrites. And this is a political temper tantrum. And it turns out when you throw political temper tantrums, the voters don't like it. And I think that explains the plummeting numbers you put up there.
$1.5 trillion to open the government for a mere 7 weeks, monies for illegal immigrant health care, monies for NPR and PBS.
Y'all hear that? This is the reason why they were holding shutdowns here recently as well. This was back in October. And then we had another shutdown here this month in March. And it was for the same causes, to protect everyone everyone besides the American citizens, the American taxpayer, legal citizens. President Trump said the same thing this shutdown, that they're going to fight it because the Democrats are fighting to reopen until they agree to their open border policies. And why would he do that when he ran on closing up the border after they let millions upon millions of people to come in here? Okay? So that they can try to get some votes for the midterms.
Monies for all the other crazy things that I mentioned abroad. That's the hill they want to die on. Look, I guess Schumer's doing it. It's for his entire career, Senator. He has said he's against government shutdowns. We played montage after montage on the show. Okay, now he's going to go against everything he's ever believed in, thinking he's clinging to power. But I would argue that ship has sailed. He's done. He's leader in name only. He's out one way or the other. I think he's looking at the end of his career here.
Look, I think you're right. I think he is scared for his political life. And the Democrats today are
scared for his political life. This man is Chuck Schumer is in his 80s now? He's been in political office for darn near 4 decades. Okay? That's why we need term limits. This man has been in office. These people cannot retire because they've been grifting off the taxpayer forever. And now you have a president that's closing up a lot of this money laundering that they've been a part of. And here they come out with no kings. Okay? Like, it's crazy. You should be retired. Been in political office for the length of time that a king would have ruled. And you know, presidents only get 2 terms. But these people have been in there forever.
Of radical interest groups. Now, I will say one of the most important things President Trump has done recently is he has pledged that he's going to go after Antifa. And what I've been urging is follow the money, cut off the money. And you look at this No Kings rally, and there's considerable evidence that George Soros and his network is behind funding these rallies, which may well be riots all across the country. And Soros
Hold up, let him finish.
Is writing the check. And so I've introduced legislation called the Stop Funders Act.
Look at here. He just made mention of George Soros. If you guys don't know who George Soros is, this is a guy that refuses to die. And Lord, forgive me, because I don't wish death upon anyone. I just wish death upon their evil. But this man is on record stating that he wants to see America fall. I think that's why he's trying his best to stay alive. He's in his 90s. And he's on record saying that China will be the future. He has a personal vendetta against America. He wants to see it fall. And guess also what he is. He's one of the top donors to the Democrat Party, where you have people like Jasmine Crockett, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, and others in that party that have been seen in pictures with him and that have reportedly taken funds from him. Yeah, tells you all you need to know. At any rate, you guys, I want to go on to some everyday Americans and see their take on the No Kings protest, starting with him.
3,000 No Kings protests taking place all over America. And although it is your American right to protest, to voice your opinion however you see fit, the No Kings protests, just in my opinion, have to be, at least nationally, the dumbest protest I've ever seen. This is the 3rd round of No Kings protests in America since President Donald Trump has been president for the 2nd time. 3rd round. America's Constitution is still alive and well. Our country was literally created to escape monarchy. It is literally anti-American to have a king. We do not have a king currently. If we have a king, we would no longer be America.
Exactly.
Those 2 things will never go together.
Exactly.
But to have a protest around the country titled No Kings, when there's nothing about America right now that resembles a monarchy.
Exactly. Come on now. You calling it No Kings, but we don't have a king. That's the reason why America was founded, was to escape, okay, the rulership from a king. And another thing, it's just so crazy that these people will even title it that. And people, just off the title alone, should know that this is BS.
It's ridiculous. I'm starting to believe, and I've had these thoughts for a minute, but the fact that this is the 3rd time, I'm starting to believe that this is some sort of calculated psyop. Like, my fellow Americans are being manipulated. I'm not telling them not to dislike President Donald Trump. That is your American right. That's what makes part of this country so great, is that you can disagree with your government and nothing really happened to you.
Exactly. You couldn't do that if we were under a king, okay? Not freely like this. All of this stuff that people like to talk about Trump on the internet, and how the celebrities have come out and said all this stuff and showed animated severed heads of President Trump, and have you wouldn't have that if we were under a king. They wouldn't even be able to speak freely like that.
That's not my issue. I don't care. Hate President Donald Trump. I don't care.
Yeah.
But to do these protests under the guise of No Kings, something is going on here.
Mental.
I don't have all the answers, but I know something is fishy. Something is fishy. This doesn't make any sense. How about a more jobs protest?
Right.
How about less expensive homes?
I'll be down for that.
Something that really affects the material conditions of Americans. No kings? You're literally protesting against nothing. Look up what the definition of a king is and look at what
No,
America
you're asking them
has.
too much now. You're telling them to look up information. They're not into looking up information. They're not into truth. They're not into learning, okay? This is liberal education you're dealing with.
Anything aligns besides them both being in leadership of a nation. Kings are elected. Kings pass down power by bloodline. There are no checks and balances with kings. There are no three branches of government in a monarchy.
Let
A
them
king
know.
cannot be impeached. You see what I'm saying? Have fun out there. Be safe. Or whatever.
Or whatever, okay? King Son wouldn't have to go through all this BS that Trump had to go through his second time around in office, okay? That right there lets you know that this is a bunch of bull crap. Let's go to another American citizen and see what he has to say about these no king protests.
Well, here we go, guys. Round 573 of No Kings protests. In a country that has never had a king, does not presently have a king, and is in no danger of having a king. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab matching picket signs, block traffic, harass strangers, and scream at bystanders. For what? Do you understand that this president's been in office the second time around, and he's oversaw multiple government shutdowns, each one of them implemented by the opposition party that's in the minority? How is that a king? Make that make sense. If anybody is acting like a king, it's Chuck Schumer. It's the Democrats. Every single time they don't get 100% of what they want, their strategy is to make innocent people suffer with the promise of back pay. And the evidence of that is in these TSA agents and airport chaos, where they're saying TSA agents aren't showing up to work. No, they're out looking for another job because the one they have is unreliable, because Democrats will take their money away anytime they don't get their way.
Exactly.
Just because you're telling them that they're going to get back pay doesn't mean that the bank's not going to come and seize their house, or their lien holder's not going to come repossess their car.
Still got to pay your bills.
Or that somebody's going to walk up to their house with food to feed their kids. And you're doing that to people. You're the ones implementing that. And what's your strategy here? What is it? Unfettered, unchecked, unbridled immigration on demand with no way of enforcing it whatsoever?
Yep.
No way of removing dangerous criminals from our country whatsoever? Inviting the third world to drive up the cost of everything and bring down the...
Look, guys, look, he's saying a lot, okay? First of all, what is this all about? Okay, you want illegal immigrants to come in here so that pretty much you can get a voter base, because if you look at the election map for 2024, Democrats are out of here. Okay, American people have had enough of them. You could talk about Trump all day long. You did it during his first term. It did not stop him from winning in a landslide the second term, because we could see through the BS. Who is for America and who is not? Okay? Point blank and period. Is he perfect? No, he is not. But I'd much rather have someone that acknowledges God, okay, unlike the Democrats, okay, that is fighting for the American people, unlike the Democrats, in office.
And make everybody suffer, completely and totally importing a new demographic to replace the one that we have, to make it look more like what you want it to.
Exactly.
But Donald Trump's acting like a king? Make that make sense.
Make that make sense.
Please. I swear the lack of self-awareness in these protests needs to be studied by some of the finest psychological minds anywhere in the modern world.
No, it doesn't. Don't even waste time. You cannot waste time on stupid, okay? You don't need to be studied. We know what stupid is. But let's go to President Donald Trump and see what he has himself to say about them trying to give him the title of a king.
No Kings protests planned across the country on Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on those?
What do they call it? No king?
No Kings.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved. A king would say, I'm not going to get this. A king would have never had the California mandate to even be talking to him.
Exactly.
He wouldn't have to call up Mike Johnson and Thune and say, fellas, you got to pull this off, and after years we get it done. No, we're not a king. We're not a king at all. Thank you very much.
I mean, guys,
Kings protests planned across the country on Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on those?
I mean, a king wouldn't have to go through the stuff that Trump has had to go through. A king wouldn't have to put up with all this bull crap, lying, liberal corruption that the media spews out every day. A king wouldn't have to go in and out of court. A king wouldn't have his home raided like that. A king wouldn't have to take a mugshot. A king wouldn't have had to go through none of that. So these people are just as left as their name. Their brain their brain has left. Now I know why they're called the left, because their brain is left. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. And regardless of what they do, it don't matter. You know, the American people have already made their decision. And, you know, it's just interesting how they can pull these crowds in. You know, they have to pay people, though. But they couldn't fill up a high school auditorium when they were running their campaigns. So that's just my thoughts on it, you guys. Let me know yours in the comment section, and I'll see you soon.